Welcome to the webinar training series for the Equals Mathematics curriculum. In this webinar, participants will be provided with information regarding the content of the Equals Math Curricular and Manipulative Kit materials. If you have any questions regarding Equals Math, you can contact the curriculum team by email at curriculum@ablenetinc.com. Please feel free to contact us for additional support or follow-up questions. Remember that implementing the Equals curriculum will take time, and one of the most important steps to being successful is to know what materials you have and how to organize them. Let's get started. Equals Math Curriculum is a multi-sensory math program which has been aligned to state and alternate standards, Common Core standards, Common Core essential elements, and NCSC core connectors. It is based on a foundation of essential math skills which students build upon to develop useful and functional math knowledge and understanding. Essential skills are those skills needed in order to move ahead in math. Learning math builds on previously learned skills and concepts. For this reason, the lessons in Equals have been carefully placed and ordered. Students learn one set of skills, which helps them understand subsequent skills as they move forward through the curriculum. For this reason, it is essential that all lessons are taught and are taught in order. For some students, it begins with learning how to attend to a group lesson and how to appropriately interact with manipulatives and materials for instruction. For other students, it means strengthening prerequisite math skills so that they can generalize and connect math in our world. What's important to remember when teaching Equals Mathematics is that math needs to be taught thoughtfully and that all students have the opportunity to actively participate in the lessons. Teachers and students focus on math skills in context. Students are introduced to concepts and skills with manipulatives and develop an awareness of the materials that are in their hands. What do they do with them, and how will they use the materials to solve problems? Students begin by developing real-world connections to math and building math vocabulary. How do students use what they are learning every day? How does the math vocabulary help them communicate with their peers and support them at home and in the community? And finally, how do math skills relate in a system of numbers? How do I use numbers and operations when I am learning about geometry or measurement? How do patterns relate to graphing and data? All of these opportunities allow students to see and learn math skills in context. The materials included in the curriculum support this level of instruction. As teachers begin the organizational process, it is important to know that the Equals curriculum is made up of four main components: the Curricular Kit, the Manipulative Kit, the Members-Only content, and the Equals Technology Lesson Center. The first step in the implementation process is to locate your Members-Only digital content USB drive. If you have not done so, please refer to the Quick Start Guide that is located within your shipped Content Kit box, as the USB drive will be attached. Once you have located your digital content, please locate the following three important resources: the Overview Manual, the Action Dictionary, and the Assessment folder. Give yourself some time after viewing this webinar to become familiar with these important resources in the Members-Only content, as they will be helpful during the implementation process. Once you have found these resources, continue exploring this part of the curriculum. An example of some of the additional Members-Only content are the materials lists by section that are used for lesson prep, worksheets, partner problem-solving materials, informal assessments, the student tracker form, additional student tools and replacement materials, and much more. Commit some time to reviewing the different folders within the Members-Only content to get the full picture of the wealth of resources available. Members-Only content is an integral part of the curriculum. The documents and resources found on this part not only provide some print materials needed to complete lessons, but also offer a variety of teacher resources that support instruction. Within each lesson's materials list, you will find listed materials with the label MO after them. This label refers to the materials that will be needed to print from the Members-Only content. Materials in italics are provided by the teacher, usually from the classroom. Note, in the Members-Only content, The Lesson Prep folder has materials lists that identify all materials for an entire section of lessons to make lesson prep much more efficient. The members-only USB drive will be attached to your Quick Start Guide in the Content Kit. If you do not have a members-only USB drive, contact customer service to receive access to the members-only content or request a USB drive be mailed to you. You can contact customer service via email at customerservice@ablenetinc.com or call 1-800-322-0956. To begin, we will start with the essential curricular resources found in the members-only content. Please take a moment to locate the Equals Overview manual shown here. This can be found in the Resources folder. This resource supports the implementation process and provides you with important information as you get started. The Overview manual includes several resources to support teachers while implementing the Equals curriculum. Within the Overview manual, you will find a pacing guide, lesson diagram pages, a checklist organizing the implementation steps, as well as exploration lessons that provide students and teachers with an opportunity to explore the content and Manipulative Kit materials prior to teaching a lesson. This is just a brief introduction to the Overview manual. Be sure to take some time to go through each appendix of the Overview manual to get an idea of how it can provide support at the various stages of implementation. Now that you have had a glimpse at the Overview manual, please remember to use the information to support your implementation process. The lesson objectives are listed in the order in which they are presented in the curriculum from Chapter 1 through Chapter 10. The objectives are organized by chapter, section, and lessons. The contents pages in the Overview manual can assist teacher with placing students at the appropriate starting point, identifying skills that students are expected to know depending on their placement, as well as providing a clear understanding of what math skills will be introduced in subsequent lessons. As you read through the contents pages, note how these pages are organized and how lessons are identified. In this example you're looking at, Chapter 1, Section A, as you can see, this section of lessons is dedicated to attending and exploring. Under the section, it is divided into 11 lessons centered around attending and exploring math objectives. This is how all chapters are organized. The number of sections and lessons vary from chapter to chapter. The coding system is also important for the lessons. Here you can see Lesson 1A1, which means Chapter 1, Section A, Lesson 1. This coding system assists teachers when identifying printable materials as they begin instruction. The contents pages are a wonderful resource for teachers to see how the curriculum as a whole is supported as students are exposed to new and connected math concepts with every chapter, section, and lesson. An important resource to locate is the Action Dictionary. The Action Dictionary can be located in the Resources folder in the Members-Only content. This electronic resource is a PDF that can be downloaded onto a tablet, desktop, or any other PDF-compatible device. The Action Dictionary is a resource that provides differentiation for students during the lessons by providing suggested adaptations for actions that students are asked to perform. Actions include add, choose, compare, find, join, or say. The Action Dictionary individualizes differentiation as students are supported based on their needs in performing the actions as active math learners. The Action Dictionary is organized alphabetically and is made up of action words that are found in purple print in the Equals Math lessons. The words are cross-referenced with alternative action words, so students are introduced to consistent differentiation while learning. As you begin teaching Equals Math lessons, observe how your students are participating, specifically when it comes to the purple words, and let the Action Dictionary be a springboard of ideas for you to support your students' needs. This is an important resource to remember as we want all students to be accessing the lessons and materials in a thoughtful way. Another important resource to locate is the Equals Technology Lesson Center. This can be found on the AbleNet website under the Resources drop-down menu, then Equals Math Resources. There are a variety of ways this technology tool can be incorporated into the lesson to support teachers during instruction. Teachers can choose to use this tool to locate print materials in a specific lesson organized by pages of the lesson, or find materials by type in organized folders. All work mats and posters are included, as well as a large supply of images, so solving a variety of problems is easy and fun. Please refer to the Equals training webinar, Equals Technology Lesson Center, to see how this tool can be used during implementation of the curriculum. The link to the Equals Technology Lesson Center can be found on the AbleNet website on the Resources drop-down menu. Be sure to click on the Equals Technology Lesson Center to be taken to the correct version. Looking at the Content Kit box, there are 5 teacher's guides with 2 chapters in each book, 53 work mats, 15 theme posters, and 9 content posters to support lessons and instruction, pre-printed student tools, assessment manuals and materials. This is shipped in a white box labeled Equals Assessment, over 1,400 vocabulary, content, action, and poster cards, all picture symbols supported. Action cards support students during instruction. Poster cards provide additional support in exploring the theme posters. All of the cards are shipped in a second white box. The 5 teacher's guides contain 2 chapters per guide. The chapters are tabbed so they are easily identified. Each tabbed section has the contents pages listing the chapter-specific lesson objectives, a detailed description of the contents taught within that chapter, as well as the organized lessons. Unfold each tabbed page so you can use the tabs. The cover of each teacher's guide indicates the chapters within that book. In this example, the numerals 1 and 2 are present, so this book will contain the lessons for chapters 1 and 2. Within the guide, the front page of each chapter are corresponding chapter number and pictures relating to the theme of the chapter. In this example, Chapter 1 lessons and math connections will center around a school or classroom environment. The theme of the chapter indicates a common thread that will be used as a context for problem solving and also as a way to support conversations about where students find math in their world. The themes include animal habitats and people environments. In the Curricular Kit, there are 53 large table work mats. The work mats are labeled as work mat and then an ordered number. Work mats are referenced specifically within the lessons. It is important to know that the work mats have been printed on a special paper that is dry erasable. Keep this in mind as you make decisions about laminating the materials within the curriculum. Work mats help students organize their manipulatives and supports visual and verbal thinking skills as they solve problems. The work mats included in the Curricular Kit can also be found in a PDF version in the members-only content and can be printed on standard size paper or 11 by 17 inch for students who benefit from individual supports. Please note that there are some work mats relating to measurement, so they cannot be printed on a smaller scale. Another place you will be able to find work mats is on the Equals Technology Lesson Center on the AbleNet website. The work mats have been created to be used with many manipulatives within the kit. In this example, the attribute blocks are placed on this work mat to support students in creating a design with smaller shapes. Within your work mats, you will also find work mat 39. This work mat has dotted cut lines to show pieces to be used to create a classroom map. In cutting this work mat into the indicated pieces when teaching the corresponding lesson, teachers and students work together to create a personalized classroom map while using appropriate spatial language or placement within a grid. In addition to work mats, students will also use a series of posters during the lessons. There are content posters and theme posters that will be used to make connections and support math skills. Pictured here are the theme posters. There are 15 theme posters that are called out specifically within lessons using the listed theme found at the bottom of each poster. Theme posters support math conversations and highlight examples of math in familiar, interesting, or motivating themes or environments. The purpose is to provide a context for problem solving and engage students and encourage them to recognize math in places outside of the classroom setting. It also supports vocabulary development by asking students to identify, label, and ask questions about what they see. All of the theme posters are available on the Equals Technology Lesson Center as well. Poster cards are included within the curriculum to support students while working with the theme posters. There are 6 poster cards for each theme within the curriculum. The images on the cards match 6 images on the poster to support accessibility for students with low vision or who are unable to get close to the poster. Images can be placed directly on the poster to match, or students can discuss the math concepts or the theme seen on their individual card. In addition to theme posters are content posters. There are 9 content posters, which are called out within the lessons by the title at the very bottom of each poster. The content posters are visual aids to support math concepts and strategies. Content posters offer students a visual reference as they generalize and practice skills, and as they are introduced to new or unfamiliar math skills or math formulas. The content posters also offer an interactive component. Ang legs can be placed on the shapes found on the shape poster. Foam tiles, circle counters, and connecting cubes can all be placed on the 20 frame found on the number line and the 20 frame poster. 2 very important content posters included to support visible thinking are the number notes, pictured on the left, and the solve poster, pictured on the right. As with the work mats, the solve poster and the number notes posters are dry erasable. The solve poster is used within every lesson and matches the lesson format to support teachers and students through the problem-solving process. There are 2 solve posters included in the curriculum. The number notes poster, pictured on the left, is a math journaling tool to demonstrate writing about math as the teacher records his or her thoughts and the students' thoughts as they answer the questions, what do I know and what do I want to know about the lesson objective. It is important students are able to visibly see the contributions they are making and show growth with each step. The number notes poster is a place for students to refer to connections and understanding as well as participation. Both posters are important parts of the curriculum and need to be reinforced and supported to meet the individual needs of students in the group. The solve and number notes posters will be discussed during the Equals lesson component training. Both posters are available on the Equals Technology Lesson Center as well. Also found within the Curricular Kit box are the student tools. You can store these tools in the Content Kit box or the file folders in another container to support organization. Each student tool is labeled by the name of the specific tool along the bottom of each page. These are tools that support students' understanding and problem-solving strategies. They include number lines, hundreds charts, 10 frames, money cards, shape puzzles, pizza fractions, and more. Select student tools are also printed on dry erase paper. Take some time to become familiar with these materials during the organization portion of the implementation process. If you have not yet cut apart the money cards and punched out the pizza fractions and shape puzzles, placed them in the bags and labeled them, you will be directed to do so in the organization Quick Start directions in the Overview Manual. These materials are also available electronically on the Members Only digital drive, as well as the Equals Technology Lesson Center. Additional student tools are provided on the Members Only digital drive to print. These student tools are used less frequently than the ones that have been pre-printed in the Content Kit. The card box stores all of the cards except money cards. The 4 types of cards are organized with tabs and placed in the box in the following order: content, vocabulary, action, and poster. Keeping the cards stored within the box allows for ease of organization and efficiency. Due to the large number of cards, it is not necessary to laminate all of the cards before instruction. You will not be using the entire set of cards in the first year of implementation. The second white box in the Content Kit is the assessment box. This is meant for storing the assessment books, work mats, student tools, and pick symbols labeled specifically for use in the assessment. The Equals assessment is a placement assessment. The print materials needed to administer the assessment are with the assessment books. It is recommended to keep these materials in this box so that the assessment books and print materials are in one place for ease of administering the assessment. In the assessment box, there are 2 spiral-bound assessment books. These books are tabbed for each subtest. The second spiral-bound book is the Numbers and Operations subtest exclusively. Unfold each tab before use. You will also find 2 pick symbol pages and assessment-specific workmats and student tools. These are labeled Assessment. Prior to assessing students for placement within the curriculum, there are some classroom materials that need to be gathered. Manipulatives from the Equals Kit are also required. Plan to give the assessment in your math instruction area, so you may take the items as needed. If you need to give the assessment in another area, a list of materials used is provided in the members-only content. Full training for giving the assessment is provided during live webinar or a pre-recorded training webinar. Instructions are also found at the start of each assessment book in the introduction. As you organize materials and move forward, take the time to review your content kit items and the overview manual. Study the contents pages of objectives, evaluating what math skills your students are confidently demonstrating. These are all important steps to understanding and teaching equals. Now that you have seen the items in the content kit, let's move to the Manipulative Kit. Here is a complete list of manipulatives that you will find in your kit. In the shipment, teachers should expect the content kit box with 2 smaller white boxes inside and a box containing the Equals Math manipulatives. Note, the MathLine 31 will be found in the Manipulative Kit or packaged separately in a long tube. Be sure to inventory the manipulatives as you remove them. This will help you with identifying materials and how they are labeled in the lessons. You can find a list of manipulatives and the content kit on the members-only digital drive in the Resources folder. The materials that were selected are for student understanding, accessibility, and communication. The manipulatives support problem-solving and consistency as skills become more challenging. It is the goal that all students have a way to demonstrate their math knowledge and understanding in a meaningful way. And the manipulatives will support students in achieving that goal. As you look through the manipulatives, there are a few to highlight. On the manipulative list, this is identified as a place value pocket chart. While this manipulative supports place value, it should also be used as a low-tech communication device. The pockets are deep enough to hold most manipulatives. Cards and pick symbols can be placed above the pockets. This level of support leads to opportunities for students to make thoughtful choices, explore and place manipulatives in a designated space or field, and it helps with students who need a higher level of support as they start interacting with materials. The pocket chart is accessible for the students to communicate through touch, pointing, eye gaze, and verbal communication. It helps build those opportunities and encourages students to talk about math, especially in the initial stages of implementation. Reference the Action Dictionary for more ways the pocket chart can be used to support student accessibility. This shows the large number and symbol rubber stamps and the magnetic numerals. Both manipulatives assist students who need support when writing numerals, math symbols, and equations. When using the stamps, there are some adaptations that may be helpful for some of your students once the student chooses the appropriate stamp. A student can grip the stamp with their hand, or slip the stamp on their finger to isolate the stamp, or small strips of Velcro can be placed on a glove or on either side of the number, or a wooden dowel could go through the handle on the stamp to create a larger handle or grip. For additional strategies for writing, consult the Equals Action Dictionary to help support individual student needs. Anglegs and Wiki sticks, labeled within lessons as wax-coated yarn sticks, are excellent tools and are useful when showing 3D representations of line segments, which can be used to easily construct angles or shapes, or reinforce colors by sorting, matching, or identifying. But there are other adaptations that you can use these tools for as well. Wax-coated yarn sticks and anglegs can be used as a tool for adaptations. Wax-coated yarn sticks can be secured on work mats, showing shapes or designs to provide a tactile border or a barrier when sliding or matching shapes. Anglegs can be used to create sorting boundaries for students who have greater success sliding objects rather than picking them up and moving them. Once they are secured to the table, again with tape or sticky tack, students can just slide the manipulatives or objects into the appropriate place, and students can use this as their boundaries. There are several ways to use the manipulatives within lessons, so be sure to place these somewhere that is accessible in your Math Center or your Math Manipulative area so that you don't forget to use them as a math tool and also as an adaptation for learning. There are two sets of two-dimensional shapes: attribute blocks and pattern blocks. Attribute blocks are circles, squares, hexagons, triangles, and rectangles. The colors of the attribute blocks are red, yellow, and blue. Attribute blocks support discussions that include shapes, colors, and size comparisons. The pattern blocks are also two-dimensional shapes: rhombus, trapezoid, hexagon, and triangle. The colors of the pattern blocks are yellow, red, blue, and green. The shapes within each set were created so that the smaller shapes can fit on the larger shapes to demonstrate partitioning and beginning the discussion of equal shares. Building blocks are used as three-dimensional models. They include the wooden counting cubes. These can also be used for color and sorting activities, as well as identifying geometric shapes and discussing faces and vertices. Cookie shapes are fun manipulatives that provide an opportunity to discuss environmental shapes, as well as use them for counters when solving problems. There are 48 cookies, 6 of each shape in 2 sets. Cookie shapes are useful when sorting and matching shapes, as well as when first learning to graph and make growing patterns. The cookies fit nicely on the work mats used when graphing. Also included in the Manipulative Kit are the Unifix cubes, referenced as connecting cubes within lessons, and the Unifix stairs, referenced as the stacked number line. There are 200 connecting cubes included in the set, 20 of each color. The connecting cubes are a wonderful resource when completing strategies relating to counting, sorting, making sets, and understanding place value. Students who benefit from a tactile or concrete connection to the amounts they are working with can place these cubes on their fingertips to gain a deeper connection with the counted amount. These also fit in the 10-frame boxes in your kit. The stacked number line is a tool that brings meaning to the number line. Students are able to use visual representations of each numeral and connect it with an amount. This tool uses the connecting cubes to show concretely that each numeral on the number line is one more cube than the place to the left. Using this concrete tool allows students to develop meaning of the number line as a tool representing growing amounts. Included in the Manipulative Kit are 12 10-frame boxes. The boxes show 10 with 2 rows of 5 smaller boxes. Connecting cubes can be placed within the smaller boxes to show the representation of 10. The lid can be closed as a way to show a filled box of 10 to be skip counted or identified easily. This manipulative is especially useful for students who benefit from the tactile boundaries the smaller boxes provide when creating sets of 10. 12 10-frame boxes were included to provide a concrete example of 12 groups of 10 within a contained workspace and are included as a first experience in understanding numerals 1 through 10 in relationship to 10 and with place value. The foam tiles are another great counter for sorting, matching, counting, area, and when completing problems dealing with the 4 operations. There are 200 foam tiles in your complete set. You will find yellow, red, blue, and green foam tiles. The tiles should be stored in the container they were shipped in, and the corresponding label can be placed on the lid. The foam tiles fit between the numerals on the number line work mats, as well as within the squares found on the 5, 10, and 20 frames. The circle counters are 2-sided circles. One side is red and the other side is yellow. This tool can be used by students to count, show sets of amounts, compare, and identify the difference between amounts. The circle counters also fit on the square and circle versions of the 5, 10, and 20 frame work mats. Teachers will find small counters to accompany the chapter themes. These counters reinforce problem-solving opportunities within a theme. As you look through your classroom materials, incorporate thematic materials you already have to help students generalize while working with a variety of manipulatives. Please be sure that you select manipulatives that complement and stay consistent with the theme of the lesson and the lesson objective. Notice that the mini frisbees are called flying discs in the lessons, and the hacky sack baseballs are referred to as baseballs. As you look at the manipulatives think about the demonstration tools that students can use outside of math class. Use the clock to support classroom scheduler transitions. Use the demonstration thermometer to discuss the weather and how students should dress or how the weather feels in different seasons and climates. The smaller thermometers can be used to make estimations about things that are hot or cold, or to compare hot and cold items. There are many opportunities for students to explore resources and materials outside of the context of the lessons. This helps students become familiar with the materials, so when they see something during a lesson, they can talk about what it is or how it is used, and they may learn something new the next time they use it. Included in the kit are 2 types of scales, a dial scale and a balance scale. The balance scale is used when comparing amounts and establishing the idea of more, less, and equal. Be aware that the wooden cubes are not identical weight, as they are made from different kinds of wood and have different densities. Lessons indicate the materials to use to show the math concept being taught. The dial scale is included to show a more accurate view of weight and mass. The dial scale shows weight in both pounds and ounces, as well as grams and kilograms. To support students' conceptual understanding of what the lines on the dial scale represent, there are 2 dial scale models within the student tools found in the content kit, one for standard US weights and one for metric weights. There are 10 rulers in the kit. Notice the lines and the numbers are clearly marked with inches and centimeters right side up for a direct comparison. The ruler is printed on a heavy coated paper for durability. Students can use this to compare a conventional ruler found typically at school or home. 5 protractors and a circle protractor have been included as students work with angles and their measurements. On the protractor, there is an arm to assist with accurate measurements. An ang leg can also be fastened to the protractor to assist with accessibility. Take a look at the Action Dictionary for details. The circle protractor is a useful tool for providing a visual representation of angle measurements in relationship to a 360-degree circle. This math tool is referred to as fraction stacks. Fraction stacks allow students to see and compare fractional relationships. Each post represents a whole, and the pieces are broken into fractions for students to work with. It is a great way for students to explore fractions. Sorting and placing fractional pieces lays the framework for what is to come in later chapters. The Equals curriculum includes assistive technology to support students and encourage participation. The alternate spinner is an accessible spinner that is activated by pressing the large button on the front of the spinner or by using a switch plugged into the side. As you can see, the overlay is an alternative for rolling dice, but when you flip the inner and outer overlay templates, it reveals a blank side where teachers can attach cards or pick symbols with sticky tack for additional lessons. Teachers can also find additional printable color overlays in your members-only digital content. The alternate spinner requires 2 C batteries. The step-by-step communicator is a communication device that contains 2 minutes worth of recording space that teachers can use to record a single message or sequential messages. Students activate the message by pushing the button, and after the first recording plays, the next message is activated by pushing the button again until it cycles through all of the recorded messages. This is a great resource for rote counting, skip counting, having a conversation, completing activities with multiple step directions. The opportunities are unlimited. I encourage you to visit our AbleNet website for more ways to use the communicator during the day. The step-by-step requires 1 9-volt battery. These assistive technology devices can bring a lot of communication opportunities in many ways, so be sure to bring them out and encourage students to use them as much as possible. Also, remember to consult the Action Dictionary for ways to incorporate these devices as ways to support students' actions as they participate in lessons. In your kit, you have 2 math lines, a large math line up to 31, and a smaller math line up to 10. As you are organizing your kit, be sure that you have both math lines. The math line is a math tool that supports counting, skip counting, adding, subtracting, multiplication, and division. The math line is a consistent support used throughout the program, and it provides structure for students who benefit from the visual representations. When you begin organizing your manipulatives and math tools, consider placing small pieces of Velcro on your small manipulatives, as well as the MathLine tabs. By adapting the MathLine and the materials, students can move and organize the manipulatives as you see here. Now this tool has become a concrete, semi-concrete, and abstract representation of counting or organizing sets. Students can use the manipulatives, a math tool, and the abstract numbers to make multiple connections. Teachers can observe how the students demonstrate correspondence and left-to-right progression. The MathLine is written into several lessons and is a tool that many students connect to. In your classroom, you may have a student or students who are not able to handle the materials or manipulatives easily. The tray that is included in your kit might provide some solutions to support students. First of all, the tray is large and wide enough to hold work mats and posters. By placing strips of Velcro on the tray and pieces of Velcro on the back of the posters and work mats, the tray can stabilize materials while students are exploring or working with manipulatives. The tray is also a great way to display materials in a structured area. Revisiting the skill of counting or organizing sets on a MathLine. For the student who is unable to handle the motor task of moving the MathLine tabs or attaching manipulatives, a counting tray works. When one item at a time is placed on the counting tray for counting, a student can use the movement that works best for them. It might be a sweeping motion, for example. The student can sweep their arm and the teacher can say 1, then add another counter and say 2 until the correct number is counted. Students are now learning about one-to-one correspondence, and they are able to see the set of items accumulating as they are counting. This makes counting purposeful, and students see the result of a growing number of objects as the counting continues. One option would be to fasten a box or a container to the end of the table. And as the student sweeps the object, they can push it off of their tray or their lap tray, and the items are collected as the student counts. The teacher or work partner could place another object on the tray until all of those items have been counted. Now let's look at how to organize your materials. If your kit has already been organized for you, you will want to explore the kit for the materials mentioned in this webinar. It is recommended to view this portion of the webinar with your content kit, manipulative kit, and overview manual, so you can organize the materials while viewing or after this portion of the webinar. If you choose, pause the webinar after viewing the instructions to complete the step, then continue the video for the next step. Begin by locating and placing the content kit vocabulary card box, this is packaged with the equals content kit, and the manipulative kit together. Locate the overview manual in resources in the members only content. Then navigate to the Quick Start Organization Guide. If at all possible, organize the manipulatives with your paraprofessionals and students present in a designated math instruction center within your classroom. This allows students an opportunity to get their hands on the materials they will be using and see how they can assist with managing materials when they are presented in the lessons. Be sure to follow the organizational guide within the overview manual. Your organizational materials include 3 small zipper bags, 4 large zipper bags, a card box with pre-printed dividers and cards inside, and pre-printed labels for the zipper bags and the manipulatives. Prior to organizing your curricular and manipulative kit materials, you may want to read through the entirety of the organizational document. The organizational guide has step-by-step directions as to how to organize the manipulatives and cards within a math area in your classroom. Step 1 to organizing is to open your content kit box, look behind the Quick Start Guide, and remove the page of labels. These will be used to label the manipulatives in the kit. Next, locate the 2 small and 4 large zipper bags in the manipulative kit. These will be used to organize the manipulatives that are not already bagged for you. Locate and cut out the money cards. There are 16 pages in total. Punch out the shape puzzles. There are 14 pages in total. And punch out the pizza fractions. There are 6 pages in total. The student tools are located in the content kit box behind the Quick Start Guide and labels. These are labeled in the footer of each page. Place the set of dollar money cards into a small bag. The remaining money cards will be bagged separately. Place straws from the place value pocket chart into the other small bag. Then label each of the following bags: butterflies, insects and other bugs, ocean animals, protractors, dollar money cards, and straws. Place the remaining money cards in a large bag and place the bag of small dollar money cards inside the large bag. Place each set of pizza fractions and shape puzzles into their own large bag. Separate the wooden cubes from the building block set and place them into their own large bag. Next, label each bag. Money cards, the dollar money card bag will be in that large bag. Pizza fractions, shape puzzles, Unifix cubes, these are referred to as connecting cubes, and cubes. There will be 20 cubes that you will have separated from the building block set. Next, label these manipulatives. Pattern blocks, this is a set of trapezoids, hexagons, triangles, and rhombi. Attribute blocks, a set of circles, triangles, rectangles, squares, and hexagons. Circle counters, these are two-sided circles, one side red and the other yellow. Flying discs, baseballs, turtles, and magnetic numerals and symbols. You also have additional labels that you may use at your discretion. As a reminder, an important step in the organizational process is to find an area in the classroom to display and store your manipulative and content kit. Locate the 12 10-frame boxes. These are the plastic boxes with 10 compartments. Stack these on a nearby shelf with the other kit manipulatives. Keep the work mats, posters, and student tools in the content kit box placed nearby. Make sure to reserve a space for the card box. Creating a math area in your classroom can help simplify lesson prep as well as provide a designated area for students to easily locate and maintain the materials if possible. Complete your equals materials organization by organizing the 4 types of cards within the shipped box. There are 4 types of cards included in the equals content kit: content cards, vocabulary cards, action cards, and poster cards. Each card is labeled with the card type on the front and the back. The image is a clear indicator and a quick organizational solution to use during lessons. While organizing, become familiar with each type of card as indicated here. Cards are organized using the box in which they arrived. The included pre-printed tabs are used to organize the cards. Within each section, cards are sorted by alphabetical letters, theme, or content. The cards should be organized within the box by type in the following order: content, vocabulary, action, and poster. All of the pre-cut cards will be organized in the provided box with pre-printed tabs. The content cards show a picture representing the category on the back, and the category is printed on the front of the card. The content cards support problem solving, gameplay, and provide a semi-concrete representation of math concepts. Vocabulary cards have a purple and orange back and are labeled vocabulary card on the front. Vocabulary cards are used to introduce students to new math vocabulary that supports the lesson objective. Action cards show an arrow at the center of the back of the card and are labeled action card on the front. Action cards support students' actions while problem solving within the lesson. Each action is supported with examples of accessibility found within the action dictionary. There are 2 of each card. Theme poster cards show a picture depicting the theme on the back and list the corresponding theme on the front. Start by organizing the content cards by category in the shipped box. As a reminder, the content cards will have a category picture on the back of the card and the name of the category on the front. Place the content card tab on the left side of the box and alphabetize the content card tabs with the labeled categories behind the content card tab. Sort the content cards in front of the corresponding content tab. The organized content cards will fill the entire left side of the box, including a portion of the right side of the box. When organizing the cards alphabetically, the subitizing, symbol, and temperature content cards will be on the right side of the box. Next, organize the vocabulary cards. Place the vocabulary tab behind the last content card category, which is temperature, on the right side of the box. Next, place the numbers vocabulary tab. Then place the single letter tabs in alphabetical order behind the numbers vocabulary tab. The vocabulary cards have a purple and orange back and have vocabulary card listed on the front. Alphabetize and place each vocabulary card in front of the corresponding tab in the box. The vocabulary words that start with a number are all considered number vocabulary and should be placed in front of the Numbers Vocabulary tab. Next, organize the multiple letter tabs behind the organized set of vocabulary cards. These tabs will organize the action cards. Action cards have an arrow on the back of the card and the label Action on the front of the card. Place the Action Card tab and the tabs with the grouped letters behind the organized set of vocabulary cards in the box. Sort the action cards alphabetically in front of the corresponding tabs using the first letter of each action word. Next, alphabetize the tabs with labels School, Home, Candy Store, Backyard, Ocean, etc. behind the organized set of action cards. These are for the poster cards. Poster cards are organized by theme. Poster cards will have an image matching the theme on the back of the card and the theme labeled on the front of the card. Place the poster card tab and the tabs with labeled themes such as School, Home, Ocean, etc. behind the organized set of action cards in the box. Sort the poster cards in front of the corresponding tabs according to the labeled theme on the front of the card. The completed set of cards should remain in the box in which they were shipped. When prepping for instruction, plan to pull the vocabulary and action cards ahead of time. The poster and content cards can be easily identified using the labeled tabs during instruction. Students can help locate the specific poster and content cards needed as a learning opportunity and another way to get students involved in managing materials if possible. Place the organized box of cards in the designated math area in your classroom. Briefly, let's look at how to start the process for printable materials. This is referred to as prepping by section. Once a teacher has identified a starting point for instruction, teachers can prepare the section of lessons that they will be focusing on. Once teachers begin instruction, they can continue to use this format for preparing for the next section of lessons. This is a suggested process for teachers to always stay one step ahead and feel like they're ready for future instruction. Please refer to the Equals Training webinar, Lesson Prep, to see how the complete process comes together. For the purpose of this organizational webinar, we will focus on getting your filing system ready. To complete the organizational process, let's briefly review items that will need to be purchased or gathered from your classroom. As you prepare to teach Equals, you will want to gather or purchase the following items: 20 file folders or folded construction paper into folders, 2 file folder storage containers of your choice. This can be an area in a file cabinet, 2 small containers, or crates or a large box. The method you choose is up to you, but remember that these will be used to manage lesson materials. A clipboard or a place to display the materials list by section, as well as any staff notes. And additional color file folders may be used for each set of folders, or if you are teaching more than one chapter in your classroom. You can also simply mark the tops of the folders with different colored markers. Divide the 20 file folders into 2 sets of 10. Label both sets of file folders with the headings that are in the organizational handout and seen here. The file folders will include places for skill and problem-solving worksheets, vocabulary cards, lesson pick symbols, student tools, number notes, game boards, teacher prepped materials, I Learned work mats, and optional student-sized work mats if you plan to print work mats on 8.5 by 11-inch paper. Once you've labeled the folders, again that's 2 identical sets, you will now have 1 set of folders for the current lessons you are teaching, and the second set will be for the next section of lesson materials. As a reminder, for further directions on how to print and organize the materials into the labeled folders, please view the Lesson Prep training webinar. Please note that the Lesson Prep webinar should be viewed after you have organized your materials, assessed and/or placed your students within the curriculum, and are ready to begin teaching. As we conclude this webinar, I would like to thank you for your time today. The Equals Math curriculum provides consistency and support as students are introduced to new math skills. If you have any questions or would like to request a live training for the Equals Math curriculum, please contact a curriculum team representative at curriculum@ableninc.com. We look forward to hearing from you.